Dear participants, today we are going to see how to develop a research question. How to develop a research question. Of course, this is a very important part for publishing any journal. Actually, there won't be any research question in the journal, but in turn, these research question will be turned into objectives. So this is what a very important thing you have to understand from this how to develop a research question. As of in any journal, you cannot see any sort of research questions. Of course, the research questions will be seen in any journal in terms of objectives, or you can see it in a form of contributions. Of course, this is a very important part for your publication. See, normally when you take any article, the very first thing is that they'll check it out for the research question. What is that you are going to talk about? What is that you are going to develop? What is that the problem you are going to identify? I can even say that the research questions can also be reflected in your titles also. That is a very important thing. When you talk about a research question, a very important thing is that what is your research question? Okay. A research question is actually you're asking a question on a topic. You can say very clearly is that a research question is an actual question you ask yourself about your topic. So I can write it in this way so that you can understand very clearly. If at all you want to know what do you mean by research question, the research question is that, okay, a research question is that you ask questions about your topic, This is a very important thing. You need to understand that you're going to put yourself in a state that putting many questions to the topic. Okay, that is a very important thing. I can make it in a nutshell is that a research question is that you ask question on the topic which you select. Okay, and if you talk about it will not be as a question. Research question is an article will not be as a question. It will be as a goal or objective. That is a very important thing. You have to understand what is a research question. Any reviewer will try to find out what is your research question. That means that I can say very clearly contributions. If you want to understand very clearly contributions. In contribution section, you can able to see what type of questions you have arised, and for that, how you are going to solve. And that is what your contribution. What do you make contribution? When I ask question, what is your contribution for this program? Or what is the contribution in your college administrative work? And what you will say, and you will be giving the answer. So by giving the answer, you can understand consolidatedly that what is your research question. That is a very important thing. When a reviewer reads your contribution, when your reviewer reads your contribution section, he can understand your research question. The reviewer can understand your research question. Your research question. As of now, no question will be there. By reading your contribution, they can understand your research question. That is a very important part. Okay, that is a very important. I think I have given a very clear-cut example what do you mean by research question. How to do this? What is the process? How to do this? What I can do? How to make this research question? That is a very important thing you have to understand. Okay. First thing is that you have to. I'll make it in a very basic. What I can say in a basic manner is that how to make your research question. I'll make like a block diagram. You take a topic. You pick any topic. Okay. Then you try to narrow down the topic. Narrow down the topic. Narrow down the topic. Okay. Then ask some questions. Ask some questions. Ask some questions. Okay. Then pick a question. Next should be you should ask many questions. You can pick a question. You can pick a question. Okay. And then focus on the question. And the final thing is that you have to focus on the question. You have to focus on the question. Focus on the question. So this is how you want to have the process of making your research question. When you are focusing your research question, that questions will be answered in the journal as a contribution. This is a very important. Okay. So now I'll give some example. I'll just go to any article. You see how I'm making a topic, and from that topic, how I am narrow downing, and I'll ask some questions and pick a question and focus on the question. This is how I'm going to do now, so that you can understand a very important thing, how to do this. Okay. Now I'll just take one question. My topic will be what I can say. I can take it as face recognition. Face recognition. Now my topic is face recognition. The very important thing is that when you talk about face recognition, okay, it is a broad topic. Okay, it is a broad topic, and now I am going to take that face recognition. Face. I'll just take one research article where I want to see what is the latest publication, what is the latest place or the latest research article is trying to do with face recognition. Now I'll just go to IEEE. I'll just share the screen, and now I'm just going to take an IEEE elsewhere or IEEE or elsewhere any paper which is having a high quality impact factor journal. I'll take IEEE Explorer, and here you want to be very choosy that you have to take only your journals, not the conference paper. And of course, you can give preference to your latest paper. You can give preference to your latest paper, and you can give preference to yearly access paper, whatever it may be. Okay, I can just take face. I'll just face recognition. So I'm just going to type it as face recognition. Now I can see that in face recognition, there are journals about 4,197 and earlier access 224. It means that it is accepted, and it is not into the hard copy. It is on the live. That is what you mean, earlier access. And if at all, when you see here, you can see here, if your earlier access number is more, try to give preference to this. You can have your second preference to the journals, because these are latest papers. So I can apply this. I can see what are the papers are there in face recognition. Of course, it is a very old topic, and you can take a latest paper. Okay, and you can see a lot of papers are there. These are all 2021 publications. Of course, you can see this in a single year. You can see a lot of applications are coming out. Okay, you can see a lot of applications are coming out in the face recognition. And now I'll select one paper. Then I'm going to what I can say, create. I'm just going to create. I'm just going to create a very beautiful research question. Okay. Now I'll take one paper and I'm going to be very choosy in selecting the paper because there are some transactions like circuit systems for video technology, and I am going to take directly directly a very close, or I can say that very close scope oriented topic. What do you mean by scope oriented? See, attention aware regularization for face recognition with reinforced learning. That is biometrics. Okay. And these are all very close to this. The journal name and your topic should be very close. And that is very important. Now you can get a lot of idea about it. Now I'll just I'll just take one article. Please wait. I'll just select a very good topic so that we'll put a lot of questions on that. Now I'll just go to this. Just go to an interesting topic. See, by reading the topic, reading the title name, you can get your interesting topic. Now I'll go to your this topic, 2021. Okay. NAR visual recognition should be somewhat interesting. Yeah, I'll take this paper. It is very good because pattern analyze machine learning is there. I'll just take this paper. And of course, I'll give an option that if it is an open access, it will be more useful for us to get into the, what I can say, topic very clearly. I'll take this one. Efficient face spoofing detection with flash. And this is, I think, by seeing the topic itself, I can able to say that it is a very beautiful topic. See, when you keep your title, the title should be very much interesting. That is also a very important thing when you give a title for your article. Okay, now I'll take this particular paper. Now I'll just zoom in. You see, this is a paper done by a company. Of course, you can see this NEC Corporation. Okay, how to see this article is very good. You can see here what a beautiful, you can see the diagram. You can see what a beautiful diagram, and you see you can see this how you are constructing their what I can say, identification of your face. Okay, and you can see from this block diagram, you can just link your title and you can see the block diagram. Efficient face spoofing detection with flash. And you can see this block diagram. When I read the title, I can go to the block diagram. I can see here specular reflection of the region. Okay, and spoofing and diffuse reflection at the facial surface. And this is the a live face, and you are spoofing. But the meaning for spoofing is that you are just mixing your photo with some other photo and you make it as what I can say, duplicate photo. I create a fake ID in Facebook in my own name. In similar way, I can make your photo to be what I can say. I can take your ID card. I can remove your photo from your ID card. I can just insert my photo. That is called spoofing. Okay, and of course, it comes under cyber security. Identification of this becomes a cyber security. Now, I'll just make a very simple question here. My topic is that face recognition. Now, in this face recognition, in this face recognition, I'm just face recognition, I'm just going to narrow down my topic as such. I'll just make it like this. Okay, when you put your face recognition, I'm just going to narrow down the topic as, okay, spoofing, face spoofing. Okay, that is what we have seen here in the topic. You can see from the topic it is called face spoofing. Space spoofing. Okay, now this is the topic as I discussed earlier. By putting my block diagram, I would have explained this very clearly. Okay, very clearly, space spoofing. Now this is the topic, and I have narrowed down the topic. I've just narrowed down the topic. Narrowed down topic. Now, what this particular person has done by keeping their flash, okay, by putting your flash, I'm going to have my spoofing. This is what the paper says. Now I'll go to the paper, then we'll read. As we learned how to read the paper in the earlier classes, you know how to read it. Now I'm just going to make it a bigger size. In the light of rising demand for biometric authentication system, preventing face spoofing attacks is a critical issue for safe development of face recognition system. We propose an efficient face presentation attack detection algorithm that requires minimal hardware and a small database, making it suitable for resource-constrained devices such as mobile phones, utilizing one monocular visible light camera. The proposed algorithm takes two photos, facial photos, taken with and without a flash, respectively. The proposed spec different, okay, descriptor is constructed by leveraging two types of reflection. Specular reflection from the iris region that has a specific intensity distribution depending upon the aliveness, and diffuse reflection from the entire face region that represents the 3D structure of the subject's face. Classifier trained with spec diff descriptor outperform other flashed PAD. Actually, PAD is the face presentation attack detection. Okay, and algorithm for both in-house database and publicly available database. They are just comparing with in-house database. It means that they create their database and publicly available datasets. They are just comparing. The proposed algorithm achieves statistically better accuracy at the end-to-end deep neural net classifiers. Now, the limitation is also discussed here. Okay. And a very important thing is that they have given in the code what they have done. It is given in your what I can say. The codes are given in GitHub. This is also a new method. People are really interested to go ahead with this type of what I can say method of giving that we are doing it correctly, and they are given the database also. Very nice paper. And when you talk about this. When you talk about this, I'll just go back. They are given the code in the article itself. It's very nice. It is giving a very big plus to the reader that you can see my code. Because nowadays, people have their what I can say, plagiarized or hooked up results. So it's a very beautiful way of doing yourself, certifying yourself that we have given the code. If you give the code, publicly, it is really a plus for the reviewer to understand and run the code, and he can understand how far the code is being written and what is the result. It's a very beautiful paper. And now I want to be very clear here that how we are going to do with the research question. Now I've got my face recognition. I narrowed down the topic as face spoofing. And I'm going to see this, how they are doing the proposed system. Okay, how they are doing the paper, how they have created the database. All those things you can see here. You can see this. You can see by reading your, what I can say, reading your caption of the figure itself, they are trying to give their entire topic. See, construction of proposed spec diff descriptor, 2 photos taken with the top and without bottom, it means that below, without a flash. 2 photos taken without flash. I'm just taking 2 photos without flash, or shot with 20 milliseconds. The distance between the face and the light source, you can see this. They are given very clearly. 25 centimeter is approximately 25 centimeter, unless other is noted. Face and eye regions are extracted from the 2 photos and resized, and the speculum descriptor, okay, and diffusion descriptors are calculated for these regions. Two example results obtained with live left and spoof right. I think you can see this spoofing. Okay, phases are shown. It means that they are taking at a mobile photograph, one with the flash, the other one is not with the flash, and they are going to have your diffuse reflection and at the eye region and facial structure. You can see this only eye regions, only the eye region, very close to the eye region, and they are going to take diffuse reflection of the facial surface. So you can see this entire paper without reading. You can able to get very clearly by reading the title and abstract, and then block by seeing the block diagram. And then if you go to your contributions, so you can see this in contributions very clearly. Contributions will be there at the last part of the section. Minimal hardware requirement, single visible light camera and a flashlight emitting device. Minimal computational requirement, mobile device, minimal database required, and minimal data label required. No auxiliary supervision such as depth segmentation is needed. And you can see this, they have applied DNN model. See, when you want to learn very clearly how this database is being taken, you can see from the caption of the figures, specular reflection from the iris, a region of interest. I think you can able to see this. They have taken the region and then they made it very clearly. By see the caption itself, we can able to understand how the paper has been done. Now, it is a very beautiful concept. And now, of course, we are not into that part. And now we are going to see the other thing is that how to make a research question. See, from this paper, I have taken a topic, face recognition, and I have seen the topic, space spoofing, and the spoofing is done based on very close, what I can say, photos taken from the image. One is the iris, the other one is your, what I can say, your entire face, and then they understand that spoofing is being done, then how they are detecting. This is how they make it. Now, how to make a research question from this? So you can see this at the last, they may have given some sort of, what I can say, feature enhancement. You can keep it as a part of an idea to extend. Of course, they have not given any feature scope. They have not given any feature scope. Okay, they have not given any feature scope. Now I'm just going to, why, first of all, you have to put question, why this type of face recognition is done? Because if at all I want to have my face attendance through my mobile. Now I have given an app. From that app, when I want to give my attendance that I am present here, okay, I want to present here. I can go. I can the app and I can open the app. Then I can take a photograph, because the app can able to extract your GPS data, and it can take your face data. It can understand that where you are located. Okay, so it becomes very easy to make your attendance. Okay, and this will be an extended part of this application. Okay, now how to make the second area, which is very important, as I discussed earlier, is that you have made it a topic, a narrow down topic. Now I'm going to ask a question. The question is very simple. The question is very simple. The question is very simple. And from the question, how to put a lot of questions here is that, okay, when you are taking the photograph from your mobile, the lighting, when you are standing opposite to the lighting, when you are standing in different lighting environment, how this diffusion and specular reflections will be influencing the spoofing system. See, I have put a lot of questions now. See, they have not considered ambient environment. They have taken only this mobile and they have taken the photograph. Now I am going to put a question. How this will happen in halogen lighting system environment, or in a mercury light environment, in indoor environment, in outdoor environment, and I keep on questioning this particular research. Now I'll just go to my presentation. I'll just open my studio. Now I'll put mind mapping for this question. I'll stop sharing. Now I'm going to ask question. Now I'm going to ask question on this particular research. Okay. Now what is my question is that whether this has been considered the ambient lighting condition, ambient lighting condition. Do you test this particular algorithm in different lighting condition? Very important thing. Then my first question is this. These are all questions. Second thing, what about different lightings? For example, LED lighting, mercury lighting, or what about with your fluorescent lighting? Fluorescent lighting. See, now I can have a mind map. I can develop a, actually this is how you have to create it. Phase, and then you talk about spoofing, phase spoofing, phase spoofing. Okay, and space spoofing is done with my mobile. Okay, mobile phone. Through the mobile phone, I go for specular. I'll make it a very simplest notation in my blog. Then diffuse. It means that specular is that iris region, and this is our facial region. Now I'm going to create a question. What about this environment? These are the things which is happening here. Now I'm going to put a question is that what about the environment? Okay, and what about, I'm just going to put a question here. What actually this question should not be there with the specular. Of course, you can put it in the specular also. No doubt, I can create a question like this, and this is what called mind mapping. Actually, there are a lot of tools to do this mind mapping, because when you keep on thinking, you may forget one or two questions. Actually, you have to create a mind map. Okay, now after having the environmental conditions, and what about the different lighting? These are all the questions. Different lighting. Okay, and what are the other questions I can put beyond this particular topic is that when you use your mobile phone, if at all I have a lot of questions. If at all I use my front end camera, because the megapixel and the megapixel, and then your megapixel and your what I can say, your megapixel and for the front end camera and your back end camera changes. And that is a very important thing you have to understand here. So I'm just going to put a one more question. If I take this image by using my front end camera, how this spoofing can be done, how the image will be there, how the image will be behaved. And that is a very important question. Okay, if I take it from the back end camera, okay, and I'm just putting all the questions towards this particular topic. And a very, very important topic, very important question which I'm going to place here is that they have taken with the mobile phone. If at all my distance changes, see, these are the research questions. Distance. If at all my distance changes during the image acquisition, how the spoofing will be there. Already I have discussed one question is that environment. Okay. Then I have created one more question is that lighting. Okay. Then one more question is that if I take with the front end camera, what happens? Back end camera, what happens? And if I change the distance, what happens? Then I can make it in a simple way. Is that one more important thing is that a very beautiful thing is that what happens if I take an indoor environment and outdoor environment? What happens if you take it in indoor and outdoor environment? I'm just making the question. Okay, indoor and outdoor environment. Outdoor environment. I think you can able to see this. Outdoor environment. Okay. See, you can see how many questions I'm trying to put. Now I can make it. This is the sixth question, and this is the seventh question. Okay, and this is the sixth question, and this is the seventh question. Now, after putting such questions, I want to create more questions here. I think you can able to beautifully understand by seeing this diagram how many questions I'm raising on a topic. Okay, these are all the possible questions. Spoofing is done with the image taken from the mobile camera at a distance of 25 centimeter. Now I have a lot of questions. Keep on questioning the topic. Now I got a lot of questions. Now I am the next part of your block diagram is that as I started with the topic, narrow down the topic, asking question. Now this is called asking question. This region is called asking question. See, I asked many questions. Actually, you have to create a mind map for this. Asking question, you keep on asking the question. Very good. Now the question is completed. You have a lot of questions. Nearly 7 questions are raised. It is that, once again, I'll read it. You made it as a phase, as a topic, and narrowed down topic. And you ask questions. You ask questions. From these questions, you arise nearly 7 questions. From these 7 questions, the third part of this, you have to pick only one question. Now, I'm going to take only one question is that if at all I do it in indoor and outdoor environment, indoor or outdoor environment, outdoor environment. Okay, now I'm making as indoor and outdoor environment as a focused question. I have raised many questions. Among that, I take indoor and outdoor. Still, I want to narrow down and focus on one question is that I'm going to talk about outdoor environment. Outdoor environment. Now I'm going to take outdoor environment. Now this part is called focusing one question. Now I've got it a beautiful topic is that I'll just make it once again a very clear structure. As I said in the first session of the class is that I'll just show you can understand. So this is the block diagram I tried to explain here is that topic. This is the block. You select a topic, then narrow down the topic and ask some questions, pick a question and focus on the question. Now, this is what the thing I said that how to make a research question. Now, I made like this. Face recognition as a topic, narrow down of the topic is a face spoofing, and I'm asking a lot of questions. I'm making this asking questions as mapping. You should make it as a mapping. Mapping is very important. Actually, many researchers are not trying to do this. Actually, when you do the mapping, you'll get a very beautiful research question. So I made a mapping, mind mapping. Now I have made it like this face. I can shade it here, face. Then asking your narrow down in your topic. Then this is your what I can say, question arise, the arrows. You can see the arrows, inward arrows and outward arrows. Inward arrows represent the question. Among that, I say that first, what about the environment? Okay, what do you mean environment? Lighting and different lighting, distance. If I make with back end camera, front end camera, if it is indoor, outdoor. So I have taken as an outdoor as a focusing question because the block diagram says that focus, I think you can see here, focus question. Focus one question. Actually, you are trying to focus the question, one question. The one question. Now, my focus on this question is that it's a very simple, is that outdoor? Now, if I write it like this in a simple manner, it is your face, then spoofing, okay, and spoofing with the mobile, it means that specular or diffused manner. Now, in that, I'm going to take a very simple question is that it is called diffused or specular way. And now I'm after my question, I'm going to focus on one area is that outdoor. Now, when I talk about outdoor based, same technique we are going to apply. But only thing is, if at all I do this spoofing and outdoor, how this can happen, how I can deduct it. That is what my intention. Now, if I keep like this outdoor, I can put a lot of parameters. What is that? If it is in rainy day, if it is in rainy environment, if it is in sunny day means on the road. Okay. If you are in fog area, for example, if you do the same procedure in fog region, your flashing, lighting will change. At the same time, instead of having my face fully covered, because when you have your fully covered, it becomes a problem. Because in your fog environment, everybody will have your what I can say, facial. You can see this. You will wear your what I can say, covering on your head. Only your face region will be known. Of course, your hair will not be known. So hair will not be seen. So you will have your coverings on your head. So I can take this scenario. Now I can create an objective question is that spoofing. Now my topic has become spoofing detection in different environmental condition, or I can say that different outdoor environmental condition, mental condition. In that, I'm going to select. Now I'm just making as a hint. Okay, the hint is that if the same thing is being done in rainy environment, okay, in rainy environment, the outdoor lighting will be changed. Though the flash can able to do it well. Of course, in rainy, the flash will be different. And if at all you do it in sunny, if you take a flash, you can check it out. You can take your mobile, you can go to a rainy time, in open space, and you can just take a photograph in a rainy environment, the outdoor environment. For example, if you have a face, okay, for example, I'll just draw like this. If you have a face, okay, now if I keep a camera, if outdoor environment and the flash lighting will have its influence into the lighting. So the object, the reflected light in the image to the mobile will have its influence. See, this is how I'm just narrowing it, still focusing. So I'm just having this point in my mind. I can create an objective that spoofing detection in different outdoor environments such as rainy, such as fog, and their ambient environmental conditions, how it influences and how the spoofing detection becomes very difficult. And this is how my contribution is going to be done for the article. Okay. And this is how I have taken one paper. I have developed a question. Now I have narrowed down. Now I want to start work on the which algorithm can able to do this perfectly. And of course, that will be the second part. So when you develop this question, research question, you have developed a research question. Minimum 5 questions should be there. One should be the primary research question. Your contribution should be like this: primary, and that primary should be supported by the secondary objective points. Secondary objective. Here, what do you mean by primary? Primary is that spoofing done in outdoor environment. Outdoor environment. Okay, outdoor environment. And secondary contribution is that if at all in high temperature, okay, high temperature, if at all during the fog, okay, if at all on the dust, okay, dust region, what do you mean by the road region, I'm doing it. So outdoor environment is the main thing, and it is being supported by the secondary parameters. Then I frame the contribution. I can frame the contribution. Okay, I can frame the contribution. This is how you can make it. Okay, this is how you can make a very beautiful research question. Of course, in the next class, we'll be discussing about taking some of the contributions from different articles, and we can see how this is being done. Primary, what I can say, objective, and supported by the secondary objectives. How minimum 3 objectives will be there, 5 objectives will be there, and how first objective and second objective. It means that as I say here, objective is that contribution. The first contribution and the second contribution and third contributions are linked. Of course, we are going to see the linking of the contributions in the research article in my next session. Of course, this primary, what I can say, contribution will be reflected in the abstract. In the abstract of the journal. In abstract, you can reflect this. Whereas in contribution, a section of the section of your journal will reflect the secondary contribution and what I can say, third contribution in the article. Okay, and next class we'll see how primary and the secondary contributions are linked by taking some contributions from different journals, and we'll explain you more elaborately. Thank you very much. I'll stop the recording. If you have any doubt, you can ask the question.